Hey guys, doing? So this is gonna be lesson number one, working with Mazak Smooth G. I'm gonna show you basic programming, how to create programs, and such. So we're gonna make a program um, and actually pull it up and set up anything. On the bottom you have options. So let's go to work number. And over here, you can find jobs that are already created, or you can actually create one. So you just press it to work number, and the keyboard comes up. So you can call it, by name. You can call it by part number from the manufacturer, or if you actually have your own shop and you create job numbers, whatever. So whatever you want. There's no spaces, so let's say you can do underscore. That's okay once you have everything going. And now it takes you to a blank screen with two options, actually three options. So what we're doing, we're actually doing everything in Mazak program. So click Mazak, then you have different options for like cast iron, CBS stainless, alloy stainless, aluminum, and such. What this pretty much does is some of them already have presets, speeds and feeds, but we're not gonna fuck with it. But like let's go with the stainless. This is what we're gonna be working with. Once you press the stainless, you have some questions on top. So the keyboard, the keypad, you can move. So, actually, the system froze. Usually doesn't happen. But let's call it 6. So what's OD max? It's actually Mazak. You're telling Mazak how big the part is, and it has a lot to do with like how far the turret retracts once it's done cutting. Also, when you trace the piece, or you want to see the cutting conditions and how it cuts. I usually go always bigger. So even if let's say I do a 2-inch part, 3-inch part, I'll go 6. If I'll do 10 inches, I'll go 12. The reason for that is just it gives me extra clearance, um, and it doesn't really affect the part, but you cannot, let's say, put 2 or 3 inches over here, and then when you try to do 4 inches, you're gonna alarm out. So always go bigger. Like I said, for clearance, for retraction, and I've always done it, and it works for me. So let's say we're working with a part that's 1 inch and a quarter. I'm gonna go with 6. ID minimum always go 0. Older machines actually you had to tell them. Let's say if you had a 2 inches hole, because it would actually retract to 0. I think once the T32s came out, that actually kind of went away. So workpiece length, 10 inches, and same thing. It makes a difference when if you're gonna trace the part. I'll show you later. Stock removal of work face. So that's it matters. Let's say if by chance this machine starts 40,000 before the 0. So if you put it 0.2, it's gonna come down to 240,000. then it's gonna jump into 200 to 40,000, and then it's gonna start cutting. So it's for safety, for clearance. But if you're using a tailstock, then you have to bring that to zero, so it doesn't actually hit the center. That's gonna be done. I'm gonna show you guys, like future videos. RPM depends if you're running callets, if you're running chucks. This is a 10-inch chuck. I usually do low volume production, like 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So I don't have any to go super fast. So let's call it 1200 RPM on the 10. It's okay on the 10-inch chuck. Once you get 15, it seems pretty fast. So bigger you are, slower the RPM is. If you have a small collet or spindle, 1200, it's gonna be like nothing. And then what I do is I add end to it. So after each program, you're gonna have an end unit. A lot of people, they don't do that. They don't put the end unit till the end of it, because you kind of have to backtrack the programming. I don't have a problem with that, and so end always has to be. So once you create this program, the OD Max ID length 10, workspace 200, let's say maximum RPM 1200. You still have a blank screen. On the bottom, this is going to be point, line, face machining, and then turning. And then you have manual programming. The reason, if you have a lathe only, you're only going to have that turning. Since this is a Mazak 250, this is a 250 MY, that means it's got a milling holder. So it's got a live tooling. The first 3 option is actually for milling. But right now, like I said, we're going into the machining unit end. Once end comes out, let me see. Okay, see, you can drag this anywhere you want, and then you press this guy over here, and it's gonna keep it there. So let's say you go number, return, program. It usually it keeps it wherever you want it. If you unpin it, let's say continue, see it kind of comes by the, So let's say, do we want to continue? This is not a production job. This is not going to be a bar fee job. So we do not want to continue. That means after it's done running the program, we want it to stop. So continue, yes 1, no 0. Parts counter, yes or no, same thing. This is not a production job. 0. Return. On the return, when you look at the bottom, you have options. You have tool change position, and then you have a 0 position. So you always, well, not always, but I go tool change position. So what the machine does is, it knows, once you set the 0 for the part, it's gonna backtrack to the longest tool you have in a magazine, okay, plus another like 40, 80,000. It depends what type of machine you have. If it's a 350, you get 80,000. If it's 250, you get 40,000 or so, and stuff like that. So you go tool change position. This is a next workpiece. So sometimes you can jump from one program to the other. We don't do that. So we just press the enter right here, and we skip. So we have our program ready. Well, this is pretty much just the basic. Now once we have the program, and then it tells you the part number. Once we have that ready, then you go to the arrow down here, you go to the position, and that takes you to the main screen where all the things are. So now in the main screen, so program, we have to get into the setup page for the program, so we can set up a 0 position and all these good things for that particular program. So even the reason for that is, for example, we have 2 programs, program 1 and program 2. So you can run a program 1, and on the position page, this is, if it's gonna say 1, it's gonna run a program 1. You can open up and create a new program, let's call it 2, and while the program program 2 is running. Okay, so for example, you're done with the program 1, and now you're in the program 2. But if in the position the program 1 is still here, that system is actually gonna run on the program 1, not on the program that you created. So like I said, this is a program 10228, for example, but it's on the program 1011. So for us to run the program we're about to create, you go to work number, then you look for the job we just created, which is gonna be this one. We press OK, and now the position page and program page are the same. Okay, so now we at work. So we go back to the position, and you click the left again, and then you're gonna have your setup. You click your setup, and you're gonna get this page, and this is where you set your 0, and I'm gonna show you how to set a 0 or teach a 0. This is a big difference. You go to turning spindle. This is where if you're a setup guy, you teach the machine where the jaws are, the size of the jaws, so somebody doesn't run into them. I do my own setups, make sure that I don't crash into a machine. So usually what I do is I tell the machine their jaws are not mounted. Also, tailstock. Okay, usually tailstock also can throw you an alarm if it's if let's say you're supporting a piece and you have a tool coming down that's pretty close. So same thing is I put it as an unused, and then later once we have a part in, we're gonna set the Z offset, and this is gonna be our setup. So now we're gonna start. So we're gonna take out these jaws. These are step jaws. This is gonna be a little tip for you guys. So let's say I have a bunch of jaws over here, and I have them number down. So you buy these. Let me see if I can find it. There are these punch numbers. There's these punch numbers. They look like this. And you can punch these numbers into a jaws. So let's say each size, these are like my cut through jaws. So I have them by size. So let's say a half an inch, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and and like over here I have the bigger sizes, like 2 inches. So what I do is usually when I cut these jaws, see if I have it. So these are original Kitagawa jaws. When I cut them, let me see if I can get it without the shadow. I make these notches right here. So let me show you, because that was a brand new job that I had, and these are step jaws. So step jaws, that means there's a step. They're not two jaws. Already punched in the numbers, so this is gonna be 1 inch and 350,000. And what I do, well, this is since I was milling. So when you finish milling and you're not turning, you cannot move the chuck because the spindle is locked. So what you do is front arrow, and it tells you the C axis is connected. So there's a yellow button here. You press that,
for us to see